Hey, Bears fans, we got a 3-pack of rumors coming up in just a moment. But first, I want you guys to fill in the blank. The Bears 2021 quarterback will be. I want to know from you guys, who will the Bears quarterback be this upcoming season? Yeah, you guessed it. More quarterback talk on today's show starting right now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Yep, it's time to bring back the Deshaun Watson trade rumors. Just one smoking J on this one. I won't call it fake news, but I won't give it more than one. And, hey, I think every quarterback at this point deserves at least one smoking J, which means it's barely true, but it's pretty unlikely. We'll go ahead and jump on into Deshaun again. I think we at least need to circle back to him now that the Carson Wentz trade did not happen for Chicago. He's obviously in Indianapolis now. We know the Bears continue to search for a quarterback. They continue to need a quarterback, and they need to continue to focus on the quarterback position. He's the top quarterback that is available, I'll put in quotes, because the Texans are reportedly refusing to even take calls on Watson at this time. I think that'll have to change at some point. I wanted to mention this, though, because Eddie Jackson hopped on Twitter last night at 12:30 in the morning, which that's when the weird tweets tend to come out. DW4 thinking emoji. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's nickname, or one of his nicknames, is DW4. This doesn't mean anything for Eddie Jackson to tweet this out. We see Cordero Patterson recruiting all the time. It doesn't tend to turn into much of anything. But I'll continue to say this, and as long as he's available, and as long as, again, available, and as long as the Bears need a quarterback, you got to try. You got to at least try to swing for Deshaun Watson. It's been pretty quiet out of Hallis Hall recently. It's been strange. There's not much, legit reporting coming out of what they're trying to do. Obviously, the Wentz things ended up being maybe not as much of a thing as we initially thought. I think there was some interest there, but there's multiple reports saying an official offer wasn't actually made, so hard to know exactly what happened there. All I know is this. Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback that could be had, right? Now, maybe Houston hangs on to him, or maybe they trade him somewhere else, and likely would end up trading him somewhere else because they can get better offers from teams like the Dolphins and the Jets. But as long as you're searching, as long as you need a quarterback, don't you want to try and get the best guy that could be had? That's at least the attitude I have when it comes to Deshaun Watson. So just throw a dart out there. I'll throw one out there as well. Percent chance of landing Deshaun Watson, I guess 0 to 100%, I should say. But I think it's at least 1% because he's available. 8%. It's not that likely. Maybe 10%. I think other teams can offer more. I think the Texans are going to play hardball with Watson. I'll go in the middle. How about 9% of landing Watson? Let me know what you guys think. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with the ad break, go ahead and answer this question. Now we take a look at the Smokin' J rumor meter. Just to remind you guys, or maybe you're watching this channel for the first time, 0 Smokin' J's, it's fake news. No chance of it happening. 1 Smokin' J, it's barely true. It could happen, but it's pretty unlikely. 2 Smokin' J's, people are talking. Maybe it's in that 50-50 range. 3 Smokin' J's, pretty likely. It's not a sure thing, but it's heading in that direction. And then 4 Smokin' J's, bear down because it is definitely happening. So we go to our next one here. If no Deshaun Watson, you don't land him, how about drafting a quarterback? 2 Smokin' J's, people are talking. I think it's 50-50 at that point if Watson ends up going somewhere else. And it should be 50-50 regardless because it's a good draft class and you should explore all your options if you are the Chicago Bears. Now, specifically for this one, Louis Riddick had this out there that, and he's been consistent saying the Bears should and he believes will try and take a swing at Deshaun Watson because Matt Nagy liked him coming out of Clemson in 2017. But he said if that doesn't happen, the draft should be the next focus. And I kind of tend to agree because the options get a little bit funky after Deshaun Watson. Here's what Riddick had to say. I would rather start over with someone like a Mac Jones, who I know comes from a very strong program, had very good teaching, who some of the quarterback experts believe has it all. And I agree with him in the sense that if you can't get Deshaun Watson, I think you should focus on the draft. Now, it puts Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace in a sticky spot because they're on the hot seat and need to win this year. Can you do that with a rookie quarterback? I don't know. That's going to be a tough task. for those two individuals as they try to extend their time in Chicago. But I do think if you can't get Watson, a guy like Mac Jones probably should become the focus at that point, because you're obviously not going to get a Trevor Lawrence, probably not a Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, maybe a Trey Lance, but probably not unless you trade up. Mac Jones is at least realistic. Now, he may not fall to 20, but you could trade up to 13 or 14, go get him, maybe just give up one extra first or a future second or something like that to bring in, hopefully, who your next franchise quarterback is. I think there's a decent chance drafting a quarterback becomes a very real option if it isn't already. So, two Smokin' Jays, people are talking. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. How about this? I'll just throw some names out there because these are some of the other targets available. Pick a quarterback. Would you rather draft Mac Jones? Type MJ. How about trade for Sam Darnold? Type SD. Sign Jameis Winston, JW. Sign Cam Newton, CN. I mean, I'm probably drafting Mac Jones out of those options. Maybe you could talk me into Darnold, but I'd rather take a shot at the unknown in Mac Jones in what could be than trying to, reform a guy like Sam Darnold. So out of these options, go ahead and get your votes in. Now, today's show is presented by Bet Rivers. Just because football season is over doesn't mean there isn't money to be made. You can bet on the NBA. Major League Baseball is just around the corner. Go to chatsports.com/BetIL or chatsports.com/BetIN. Depending if you are in Illinois or Indiana. You can sign up and deposit from anywhere, but you must place a bet within one of those states. 100% deposit match at sign up. Put down $100. They'll give you 100 for free to bet on. NFC North champs odds are already out for this next season. Packers are the favorites at -300. Bears at +500. Not the worst odds in the world. Maybe the Packers fall back a little bit. Maybe the Bears get a quarterback. Get in now while the value is good. +500. What does that mean? Put down $10. You can win $50 if they end up winning the NFC North. So take advantage of these odds. I think there's money to be had there. Chatsports.com/BetIN, chatsports.com/BetIL. Get going with Bet Rivers and make some money even in the off season before next season gets going. Okay, let's talk about our next one here. How about a Teddy Bridgewater trade? I'm going to go one Smokin' Jay. This does not get me very excited. We'll go ahead and talk about it, though. A couple of different things to consider here. Fansided threw it together a couple of trade ideas, which we'll show you in a minute. Bridgewater has unfollowed the Panthers on IG. It's unfollow and follow season on social media. As you guys know, that's been an Allen Robinson special over the past couple of months. But the Panthers are interested in Deshaun Watson. They're interested in drafting a quarterback at number 8, so it's reasonable to think that Bridgewater could be a little bit upset and that they could ultimately move on from a guy like Teddy Bridgewater this offseason. And look, as far as the Bears go, this doesn't excite me that much because not that Teddy B isn't an upgrade over a Nick Foles or Trubisky. I think he is, but I think it's like a minor upgrade. Like maybe you win one extra game because you have Bridgewater instead of a Nick Foles, instead of a Mitchell Trubisky. I'm personally not that interested in Teddy Bridgewater. I just don't think he's a difference maker in terms of, we went 8-8 last year. Maybe now the Bears are an 11-win team. I just don't really believe that. He's a good underneath quarterback. Within 10 or 15 yards, he's accurate, but he doesn't stretch the field. 15-11 ratio, and keep in mind that was with Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel. It's not like the Panthers had bad weapons just because Christian McCaffrey was banged up last year. I don't have a ton of interest in a Teddy Bridgewater trade. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Would you take Teddy Bridgewater? Y for yes, N for no. Would I take him? Sure. Am I excited about it? Not really. I'm going to type my N for no. I would much rather, like Louis Riddick said, go in the direction of a draft than to pick up a guy like Teddy Bridgewater. Now, more on this in a second, but first, subscribe to the channel because we're plugging out videos every single day. The latest quarterback discussion, rumors, trades, offseason coverage. I'm sure we'll plug out another mock draft very, very soon. Tons of draft coverage as well. And live shows every single Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. You see the link below. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. But just hit that big red button and subscribe because we're going to keep plugging out videos just for you guys. All right, Fansided did throw together these two trades here. Here's the first one. And look, to their credit, the trade packages aren't bad. Teddy Bridgewater to Chicago for Bobby Massey, who I've said for a while you need to dump, and a 2021 third-round pick. Not bad value, right? You upgrade slightly at quarterback and you get rid of Bobby Massey. You could do worse there. Number 2, and this one's not bad either, Bridgewater for Foles, a 5th and a 6th. Not the worst. I will say Nick Foles only costs $6.7 million against the cap this next season, which really isn't that bad. He's obviously not very good, but is he that much worse than Teddy Bridgewater? I don't really think so. Teddy B kind of costs a lot. Like, it's not like he's cheap. I mean, almost $18 million next year if you trade for him, over $20 million in 2022 before he becomes a free agent in 2023. That's not a ton of money, but he's not a franchise quarterback either. He's a stopgap quarterback. He's a slightly better Nick Foles. You can run an offense with him. You can get by with him, but you're not going to, win 10, 12 games because of him. If you win that many games, it's because, they managed the game for you and you ran the ball and played defense. That's just the reality of the situation. What's the better QB option? Foles at $6.7 million or Bridgewater at $17.7 million? Type NF for Nick Foles, Bridgewater for TB. I mean, do you guys think Bridgewater's $11 million better than Nick Foles? I don't. I think he's $4 or $5 million better. $11 million though? I'd rather save that $11 million and get a left tackle or something like that. Let me know, NF or TB. And let's be honest, hopefully it's neither of those quarterbacks. All right, a little bit of news, I guess news here. The Bears have met with Illinois, or talked with Illinois receiver Josh Imatorbhebhe. I think that's the correct pronunciation there. Local kid out of Illinois, played under former Bears head coach Lovie Smith there. 6'2", 220, big receiver. And this is common among NFL teams. They meet with these local prospects and, just pick their brain on football and that type of stuff. Probably more of a middle round type of target. Good frame, like I said, 12 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Remember, the Big Ten had a shortened season here in 2020, so he only had 3 touchdowns this year, but had 9 the year before, so I kind of combined the stats there. I don't have a lot to take away from here. I'm just trying to keep you guys updated with who the Bears are meeting with leading up to the NFL draft. Like I said, played locally at the University of Illinois. I'm still Team Sign AR. He's not an Allen Robinson replacement. Let's make that very clear. Lots of draft news and rumors leading up to April, so subscribe, and we'll see you next time.